Well, welcome to the stream. How are you? How have you been? Have you been making art? How's the weather? What kind of food have you been eating? What kind of music are you listening to? What is going on? How are you? I hope you're wonderful. We're gonna do the usual. We're gonna be doing some two-handed speed drawings, probably starting in about 4 minutes. Let's say 3:45. Boom! Here we are. Room reveal. Yellow. There we are. Here's our dragon request drawing from last week. So that's fun. It's 3:42. Wait 3 minutes and then we'll go. Then we'll go in. So it's Thursday. We're starting a little earlier than usual today. I mean, it's not that early, but we started late on Tuesday. So this is much earlier than we started on Tuesday. So we're just trying to find the sweet spot in our stream. Okay, 3:42. We've got 3 more minutes to go. We'll get started. Why, you may ask? Are we waiting till 3:45? Because of my OCD, I guess. Gotta start the stream on an aesthetic number. Start the stream at like 3:43. Crazy. Start the vertical drawings at 3:43, 3:44. No way. Heck no. How's that close-up look? Boom. The dragon. We'll have to bring the music down. I've been editing some of these episodes. I've been editing some of these episodes, streams down into episodes for uploads. They'll be coming to YouTube cinemas real soon. Doesn't matter. $3:44, y'all. Uno momento. Alright, we're gonna start bringing the music down. Dum dum dum, you know, like in the theater when they start bringing the lights down. Alright. Probably lose that graphic. Thank you. There we go. Let's see what that package was. What did we get, buddy? Yo, what up, Zanny? Look at you on YouTube. Love it. In the first class seats. How have you been, dude? I was about to start the vertical stream, but let's chat for a second before I get to drawing. What you been up to? How are things? Are you still in school? You programming anything new? I'd like to see you over there at the first class seats of the YouTube horizontals. We're talking ad free, baby. But yeah, give me updated. What you been doing, man? Been a while. Let's chat for a second before we get to stream. And I'm gonna bring this Bring the music back up. Yeah, still in school. Anything new? Any new music? Any new movies? Doing my degree type deal. Haven't done much other than that. Gotcha. Still doing a lot of programming? Doing any writing lately? Big fan of your writing. Number one fan. We've been doing vertical streams here simultaneously. So when we go into the vertical stream, sometimes it gets crazy in the vertical streams because YouTube pushes the algorithm real hard to the live verticals. Yeah, well, if you want to share, be sure and share. I know Discord's about to end its life, but if you want to share some of your writing in the Discord, you know I like to check it out. Have you been into one of the vertical streams with us yet, Zanny? I had like 700 views on one that we had recently. I got like 15 new subscribers out of 1 hour stream. Sometimes they're crazy. World building lately, that's fun. Doesn't feel as frustrating. Yeah, that's true. It's a lot more fun. You world building for just for like personal creative reasons, or are you working into you're doing world building because you're working on a project? Gotcha. So yeah, you've hopped in on a vertical. Cool. Yeah, man. The YouTube verticals go crazy. Crazy. Yes, I've been trying to do YouTube verticals every time because my subscriber count on YouTube has gone up over 100 subscribers in the past like 2 weeks from doing vertical live. Just for fun. Well, yeah, man, I want to check it out. We got to do a vertical live, but after the vertical live, we'll do another hangout if you want to chill and take a look at some stuff. Yeah, I guess so. It's also like two of the newest mediums that YouTube is messing with, the vertical and the live. So when you do vertical and live at the same time, like the algorithm is just like, this is the new stuff. So people are on it, but also like YouTube is pushing a lot of viewers to it because they're just starting to crack that medium. You know, they're trying to be TikTok. What good, dude. I need to get another massage. All right, what is it? 350? All right, Zanny, we about to hop into a vertical if you want to come meet us in the verticals. Or if you want to stay here on the horizontal, that's cool too. Make some requests, but we're going to go into vertical for about an hour. And then we'll come back out to horizontal, and then if you want to chat a little bit more, take a look at some of that world building stuff or some of your writing, I'd be down. Be fun. Okay. I love Oracle and Larry Ellison, guys. What are you saying? Why am I not understanding the context here? Oh, let me feed this. Where did we put your food? Where did we put your food? I see what you're saying. I was just confused. Yeah, I don't use TikTok. YouTube is where I put all my attention. Twitch, I like Twitch too, but Twitch is so game oriented. I like that YouTube is like arts oriented. No, no, no. I gotcha. I gotcha. I knew, I just didn't understand what you were saying. I'm sorry. The joke went over my head. I hate to admit it. But yeah, that's why I don't use TikTok. I don't do TikTok. I have a TikTok account, but I don't even fuck with it. I'm not trying to. Oh my lord, Shibby's back. Shibby's back. Unbelievable. Shibby, you gotta go meet us. Do you have a YouTube account? You gotta go meet us at the YouTube, my dude. We're streaming on YouTube. We're about to go vertical. Zanny's over there. He'll pop in here though, I'm sure. Zanny, Shibby's in the Twitch chat. Heck yeah, man. You're gonna see ads over here at Twitch. Go on to the first class seats at YouTube. No ads, plus we're going vertical. I see what you're saying. It's so exhausting, like looking at apps or trying to invest your time or energy into friend circles or social circles or even like work circles through apps, and then they change hands or something, and all of a sudden it's like you're forced to like support a political agenda just by existing on the app. Shit's ugly. All right, y'all. I've been procrastinating. Let me make this call one more time. Hold on. Shibby in the first class seats. Bro, I like y'all's profile pictures over here. Look at my fucking guys. Look at my community. Brick by brick in the YouTube chat. What do you think, Shibby? Shibby, what do you think about the YouTube experience? You know what? You don't need to apologize to me, first off. But Wolfman updated me a couple times. Hey Gabriel, I talked to Shibby, and he said hello, but he was gonna be wasn't gonna be around for a little while, and then he must have talked to you or something. Very cool. Nice to have you back though, Shibby. So tell me, how are you doing? You still have the girlfriend? You still in school? Still have all the pets? What's the scenario? How's work? How's the family? I know you be eating good. Tell me about some of those interesting dishes you always eating. All right, so here we go. Shibby, Zanny. We're about to go vertical. All right, and sometimes it gets a little crazy. Not all the time, but so Shibby, do you know how to get to the vertical stream from here? You're just gonna go to the YouTube channel and click on live, and it'll have the vertical live. So we'll be live vertically and horizontally. But if y'all want to hop in the chat and it gets crazy in there, you can help me mod a little bit. And then we'll do another girlfriends are often complicated. That makes sense. And congratulations on the internship, my dude. How cool is that? Architecture? Oh my lord, we got a damn man in the room. Wow. Welcome to life, my guy. Look at you. You made it all the way to adulthood. Hey, for a second there, we didn't know if you were going to get here. Well, don't you go rushing. You take your time. You stay a child as long as you fucking can, my guy. Stay young and dumb while you're young and dumb. Well, very cool. Tell me about the internship. All right, y'all, we're about to hop into these verticals. So Shibby and Zanny, if y'all want to hop into the verticals, please do. Sorry, I keep repeating myself. If you want to stay here in the horizontal, I have both chats up, so I can see both chats. But if you're not in the vertical chat, you're not going to be able to see what those crazy folks are saying. Whoa! Wait, how are you graduating? What are you graduating from? Or is graduating different? You're graduating from... Damn. I'm proud of you, Shibby. I'm very proud of you. Oh, it seems like just yesterday when you came into our room like a lost puppy, an artist who didn't know whether he should go to school for art or for architecture. And then we polled the community, and we ended up making a decision as an art group. And look at you, 3.9 on your way to being an architect. Insane. Good for you, dude. Good for you. Proud of you. Keep doing it though. Don't rest on your laurels, as they say. Keep cooking, man. Keep doing it. Keep grinding, keep focusing. Also, you know how we talk about here, make sure you're taking care of your mental health. Make sure you're taking care of your physical health. Growing up takes a lot of work, you know? So keep Not only do you need to keep moving forward, keep doing your schooling, keep grinding, girlfriend, work, job, school, but make sure that you're taking care of your mental health, your physical health. Make sure that you're eating well, you're exercising, you're drinking lots of water, taking mental breaks. I'm good, man. Stream's been a little slow for some reason on Twitch. Maybe they changed some things. Who knows? Been a little slow here on Twitch, but it's been speeding up a lot on YouTube. I guess you're on YouTube, so welcome to YouTube. Maybe that's why it's slow on Twitch, because I keep pushing everybody to the YouTubes. All right, I gotta stop procrastinating. We gotta get into drawing. Did you see the dragon that we did Tuesday? It was a request. Yeah, you gotta. That's how life is, man. That's why I was bringing it up. Life is a balance. You can't do it all at one time, but you just gotta find a balance in life. Sometimes you gotta go focusing on this. Sometimes you gotta focus on that. You can only spread your focus into so many areas, and sometimes it's not a bad idea to sit down with a sheet of paper and write down all the things that are important to you and go through and see how much time that you're able to give to all these things that are important to you, and you'll be able to see what you've missed and what you've been able to keep focused on. They call that the life wheel. If you Google life wheel, we already did a Demogorgon. Shibby, check out the YouTube shorts. I could do another one though. We did a Kit Harington drawing as well. But yeah, once we get going in the verticals, I'll draw another Demogorgon if it's the request of the day. Everybody wants Stranger Things, huh? And don't all caps at me. Do not do. Don't you dare all caps at me. Where is that Demogorgon? I can't dig through all those sketchbooks. But if you look through the YouTube videos, there's a couple shorts of the Demogorgon, and there's also probably like a full episode. I think I did of the Demogorgon. I can't remember. I'll draw another one. All right, let's bring this music down. All right, y'all, ready for it? Hold on to your butts. Shibby, Azani, y'all want to come meet me over at the verticals? I'm going in 1 minute. All right, let's go. Well, hello, YouTubes. We're back for our Thursday streams. We're on vertical, we're on horizontal, we're on Twitch, we're on the YouTubes. We got the Meow Man. We got the Meow Man. We got, oh. Oh. This is my Meow Man. All right, y'all. This is the dragon request from yesterday. Oh, I need to pull up the chat here. Just give me uno momento. That way we can see both chats. And Zanny, Shibby, if you want to find the vertical chat, you just check out the live channel, the live page. It is called Two-Handed Speed Drawing. And it's just got the logo of my face. Yeah, the camera is totally flipped on the shorts. I don't know why it does that. I wonder if I could flip it. No, I could turn the camera around, but yeah, it's flipped. Good, God dang it, I did it again. I'm trying to get this chat popped out. Good eyes, though, Zan. Chibi, where you at? Keep closing this damn chat. I'm trying to pop it out. Pop out chat. Boom. There we go. All right, so now we got both our chats up. Yo, Cybernetic Fox. Welcome. Cyber, if you want to hop over to the vertical, we're also live on vertical YouTube. But welcome, Fox. What's up, Grinch? Welcome to the chat. All right, let's get going. Fox, what kind of art do you do? Welcome to the chat. Grinch, are you an artist? What kind of art do you do? All right, if you want to make a request, don't be afraid to request. But we're going to do some two-handed drawings, start something like this. And I'm not trying to be too focused on the perfect drawing. We just want to have fun. We're just going to push some lines around on the sheet of paper and kind of just appreciate what our mind decides to do. You know? That was fun. What do you think? Not too bad. Pretty good start. I sketch. Grinch, you sketch and love drawing. What kind of stuff do you sketch? What kind of drawing do you do? I do too. I love drawing and sketching. What kind of art are you into, Grinch? You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. What? Are you a mean one, Mr. Grinch? Okay, so we're just adding, this is another piece of charcoal. We're just adding a little bit more. Adding a little bit more. Okay, let's add some darker areas for our audience to focus on. High contrast areas are where audiences will always focus. If you're doing music or films or writing or drawing, leave some areas with low contrast, leave some areas with high contrast. And high contrast areas where the audience will always focus. Pro tip. Oh, look at Fox. I made it over to the vertical. Welcome. Sketch bodies, sketch people's faces. Very cool. Grinch, do you use Discord? Do you have a place where you share your artwork that you could share it here with the community? So now I'm just using a paper towel and I'm just spreading around our charcoal a little bit just so it like creates even more of a dynamic fade between the dark spots and the light spots. And then I'm going to use an eraser. Oh, that's very cool. What kind of writing do you do, Sai? I'm a writer as well. I'm going to use my eraser kind of like a white charcoal or a white piece of white paint or something, you know, to make highlights, like a reductive thing. But if you notice, if you're using charcoal, you can use an eraser much like you use a piece of charcoal, you know. So that's what I'm using. This is called a gum eraser. These kind of erasers, they don't leave any kind of like crumble behind. Something like that. Yeah, be sure that you've liked the stream here and subscribe to the channel, please. I would appreciate it. So yeah, if you like the stream, we'll get some more art friends in here with us. And if you're just getting here into the chat, tell me, what kind of art do you do? $1 worth of painting, by the way. Thanks, Rage Baiter. Sold. Venmo me that dollar. I'll mail you the painting. uh, uh, oh, let me ask you this, Sai, what kind of stuff do you do? What kind of writing do you do? And what I always say to other writers that I work with is, have you read the Blake Snyder beat sheet? Do you know what the Blake Snyder beat sheet is? If you're a writer, I would encourage you to go read that book, the Blake Snyder beat sheet, or just learn how to use the Blake Snyder beat sheet. Midnight, you do anime. That's pretty cool. What kind of anime? Like, do you draw anime or do you do animation? And I'm still just using an eraser here, kind of like it's a piece of charcoal as well. You know, and I'll remind you when I'm doing this type of drawing, I'm not kind of focused on how great the drawing is or whether it's perfect. I'm just kind of it's expression, you know, it's an exercise in stress relief, not an exercise in realism. So the more I can kind of let go of control and allow the drawing to kind of exist on its own outside of my preconceived notions of what the drawing could be, I feel like the better the drawing will be, and also the better my mental health will be from like strengthening that muscle in my heart and in my mind that says it's okay to not control everything and not know what the outcome's going to be and just kind of allow the art to come out of you. Let's see what we got here. Sorry, I've never really published anything. It's more like a hobby I do more than anything. Well, that's called an artistic self-expression. I love that. The foundational text at this point. Yeah, you gotta. It's for the class. If you haven't got the Blake Snyder beat sheet, then how are you gonna get an A in the class? It might as well be the 14 commandments. Come on, you gotta admit it works well. Not only that, but Zanny, if you're doing some world building, maybe the beat sheet could help you there. Here's some details, y'all. You want to see some scribbles? Midnight, tell me more about your anime. And y'all, be sure and if you're in the vertical stream, be sure and like the vertical stream so it pushes it to the search. All right, let's do another one. You know, in this process of drawing that I'm doing, you could probably do it in many other media. You know, like, and it just kind of is an exercise that will translate over into other parts of your life. Oh, you got class? Well, Shibby, it was really nice to see you. Thanks for coming and hanging out again. Thanks for introducing us to Cybernetic Fox. And be sure and come back and hang out with us. Like the vertical. Subscribe to the page. Okay, so here's the game, y'all. You don't want to focus and give yourself a hard time. You just want to loosely draw lines on a sheet of paper. And you want to focus on these lines being something like when you write your signature, you have fun writing your signature, and there's not a whole lot of stress in writing your signature. You've written your signature so many times that if somebody asks you for your signature, you're almost excited because you've been practicing to write these lines in a certain way. But like your signature doesn't have to be realistic. It just has to be. And I think that's so much work. And there's something like pareidolia that can also do a lot of work for you. You know, when you're seeing animal in the clouds, there's no animal in the clouds. Your imagination is creating this magic. And I think that there's a way to make art where you're not focusing on the end product. It's not about it being real or beautiful, but it's like some kind of personal expression. It's a stress relief instead of a stress creator. You know, so that's what I'm doing in this process. I'm not really concerned on whether it's a perfect anatomy or the ratio or the proportions or anything is right. I just want to enjoy moving, you see when I move the charcoal around the paper like that, like it's really nice and soothing and fulfilling to kind of move the piece of charcoal around the piece of paper with your arm and these large strokes, you know what I mean? And realism doesn't really kind of isn't really conducive to these free flowing lines, so it's like, do you want realism or do you want self-expression? Because sometimes the two things might not exist at the same time. So when I'm creating art like this, I want to tell that little voice in my head that critiques the drawing before I've even got it started. The little voice in my head that creates the artwork, the writing, the film, the song before even I'm even done writing it. And I want to quiet that part of my mind, and I just want to create art in a way that's self-expressive and fulfilling, you know. What does Shibby say? Sure, sure. All right, Shibby, you better come back. We've missed you. So yeah, so I think that there's this part of your mind as you get older and as you go through culture and through life that you train your brain to think more critically. You train your brain to like be harder on yourself and to kind of like really kind of critique everything you do so that when you sit down to make art, that muscle is so strong, that criticism, the criticizer in your brain, the critic who's telling you your work isn't good enough or you're not good enough or you haven't been practicing long enough. I think that's a muscle because little kids don't have that criticism. And I think that when you make art, you can go back and start to remind yourself that you don't have to be hard on yourself. You don't have to be so critical of yourself when you're making art. There's so many different areas of your life when it's time to be critical of yourself, when it's time to like give yourself a hard time or expect this perfect excellence. But when you're making art, it's one of those beautiful parts of life where you don't have to expect anything out of yourself. You don't have to be very critical. You can just loosely make a piece of artwork and not have to, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be anything except for fun and expressive. Bro is not coming back. He's probably just gonna fall asleep when he's done with school. Why does everybody make fun of Shibby falling asleep? That dude must be falling asleep all the time. Every time somebody comes in here, they're like, "No, the dude's gonna fall asleep." Is Shibby narcoleptic? Funny. All right, so here's the third portrait of the stream so far. You want to see some details? Also, be sure you like the stream, sub to the YouTube. I'd appreciate it. Defining character traits, just good writing. That's true. Most likely, he's narcoleptic. Oh. What do y'all think about the details? All right, I think we're gonna do maybe some jazz musicians again. I like to do guitar players. If anybody has any requests, now would be the time. Okay, let's find some guitar player. This guy's wailing. I love that. Let's do that one. All right. In fact, one time we were on a call and he fell asleep, and after many years of friendship, I just accepted it. Oh, that's funny. Uh, we've heard that about Shibby. He'll fall asleep on you. You gotta love that about somebody. If you love him, let him sleep. All right, as soon as you can tell when I'm drawing, you gotta sound off in the chat. Okay, something like, oh, maybe something like this. And again, when I'm drawing this, I'm not trying to be too, like, maybe literal, realistic. And I think sometimes when you're making art, like, don't be literal. And I know it's funny to kind of like think of art as something that you don't have to take literally, but like every line doesn't have to like represent the exact line from the reference photo. Like some of it can just be like it's almost like blind contour drawing in a way, which means like you just look at the subject, but you don't really look at your sheet of paper. And in this way, I'm definitely looking at my sheet of paper, but I'm not like critically concerned with what's right and wrong. I'm just kind of expressing myself through the scribbles on the sheet of paper. So let's do this. Let's do maybe these are fingers here. I love drawing the fingers the most. When I say it's fun to draw lines that are like cursive or like your signature, but moving your pencil around in those circles is a really fulfilling shape to draw. Like I try to spend time finding out what lines I really enjoy drawing and then try to figure out in my quick expressive line drawing where can I use those lines that I really enjoy to draw. Because I'm a firm believer that if you're having a nice time, if you're having fun, if you're like really expressing yourself while you're drawing, that I think that the people looking at your drawing will have a similar experience as you had drawing it, you know? And I think sometimes that can be, look at Cybernetic Pop. Yep, dude holding a guitar. You're right. Sometimes I feel like, if you spend your time finding the most relaxing, expressive way to make art, when people look at your art, they're gonna feel relaxed and expressive while looking at it, And I think that's kind of a magical thing that we can do with art is just like focus on the self-expression, focus on the health of it, and not get focused on just how real is it? How perfect is it? You know, I put hours and hours into this drawing to make it like sometimes that doesn't matter if you spent 1 hour or you spent 1 minute. Like the final viewer, they don't care how much time you spent on it. They just care how it hits, how it resonates to them. Fox says, I asked Shibito about your art style one time, and he said he draws with spaghetti shapes, and I totally see it. Yeah, yeah, that's fun. And I guess it's spaghetti shapes, but I try to use like signature shapes, where it's like the same shapes you use when maybe you're writing your name. If you're doing a signature, it's like these fun cursive shapes. Like even when I'm smudging the charcoal around, like these large arm shapes are kind of a fulfilling motion, you know? And I think not only that, but like switching from my right hand to my left hand in such an expressive style, it leaves a lot of opportunity for me to use my non-dominant hand. Capybara lover. Well, thank you so much for the compliment. Be sure and like the stream, and subscribe to the YouTube. Cappy, are you an artist as well? Also, I appreciate you hopping into the stream and just coming in and saying something positive like that. That's really awesome. I appreciate that. There's a lot of people that'll just hop into these type of streams and just want to say something rude and bounce. And every now and again, somebody comes in and they say something nice like that. Thank you, Cappy. I appreciate that. I appreciate that little bit of love and positivity. That's what a good community is for. So now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to find some highlights. I'm looking at a picture of a guitarist here on Google, And I'm not like overly concerned with all the details. Like I'm looking at where a highlight is, and I'm trying to bring that highlight out with my eraser. But sometimes when I look at the drawing and I look at my reference, I can see, oh no, that line is in the wrong place. Or if I want to put that highlight here, I have to change the drawing because I missed it or I messed it up. But instead of making that change, I just go with it. Let's just put the highlight where it needs to be. If the line is in the wrong spot, so be it. It's not a big deal, you know? That's part of the expression. It's just kind of allowing your subconscious to make some decisions that maybe your conscious wouldn't make. And then at the end of the drawing, you can turn around and look back at the drawing, and you're almost like a passive observer in your own piece of art, you know? And I think by giving up a little bit of that control and allowing the art to kind of exist on its own, that it pulls a lot of the pressure off of you, and you can start to just make some artwork that's fun and expressive, and people aren't looking at your artwork because it looks like a photograph. If you want a photograph, go take a photograph. People will start being attracted to your work because of the self-expressive nature of the work, you know? And all kinds of art works and exists, you know? And I think that's the beauty of art is that everybody can find maybe their own way to make art, their own way to express themselves. And I think if everybody spent time making their drawings look perfect and realistic, everybody's drawings would look exactly the same. I think there's something about the mistakes you make, there's something about the lines that only your hand draw, that the more you can kind of like cultivate that muscle and allow those mistakes to be part of the art, then it really becomes a signature style. Uh, you wish, but you're only 12. Glenna Buttermore, thank you so much. I'll be sure and like the stream and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'd appreciate it. Cappy, nice tattoos. Thank you, Cappy. Phone's on 1%, so bye. I sub. Thanks, Cappy Bear. Thanks for the positive influence. Have a nice day, kid. Also, get off your phone. You're too young to be on the internet. But thanks for being here. All right, something like that. I think we're done. Let me soften that last scribble just a tad. There we are. There's our guitar. So we're going to do another one. If anybody wants to make a request, let me know. Glenn Buttermore, are you an artist? What kind of art are you into? What kind of stuff do you do? Y'all want to see some details? See the spaghetti lines? I like to think of them as like signatures. You know, they're just a bunch of little cursive lines, you know. Hey, Roel, welcome to the chat. How are you? Be sure and like the stream and subscribe. There we go. All right, all right. Let's look at another one. I really like drawing guitarists best. I like guitar and they're in some fun expressive positions, and I feel like sometimes like drawing like the way the shape is really kind of conducive to the style of art I'm doing. Maybe a bass player. I like this one. All right, can we open that image in a new tab? Beautiful. All right, so let's get back to self-expression. What up, Roel? Welcome to the chat. Be sure you like the stream and sub to the channel. All right, so as soon as you can tell what I'm drawing, well, you know what? I want to do a different one. I do like that, but I don't like how. It's another thing. Like a guitarist is a good. Here, let's use this one. Here we go. All right. So again, I'm gonna actively tell my brain to shut up and that every line works and that I know what I'm doing. Because my brain is doing what your brain does, what everybody's brain does. It says that line is wrong. This is ugly. You don't know what you're doing. These are just scribbles. It's saying stop. You know what I mean? And I'm actively saying, brain, it's not your turn. My heart and my soul and my mind and my imagination is at work, and I don't need my brain. I don't need that inner critique right now, and I'm just trying to constantly remind myself that it doesn't matter, and I'm just making art, and that if it's going to be a mistake or if there's going to be some ugly parts, that's part of the art, but it is tough, and it does take, yeah, of course it take requests. Christine, you have to, if you like the stream and sub to the channel, I'll take a request. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to like actively convince myself constantly that I can do this, and that none of these lines matter, and that there's no reason to kind of judge myself or critique myself at how the drawing is coming together. All my job is to create the drawing. That's it. Doesn't have to be a wonderful drawing, doesn't have to be the perfect drawing, just has to be a drawing. I think the world is a better place because art exists, you know? And it's not about that great art makes the world better or bad art. It's like humans. The world is a better place because you're part of it. I'll repeat myself. The world is a better place because you're in it. Thank you for being in the world. Can you draw Shung from Stray Kids? I can. As soon as I get done with this, I'll Google what that means. And we'll take a look at it. Thanks for liking the stream and subscribing. If anybody else has some requests, let me know. But again, like what I'm doing is like trying not to care about how wonderful the drawing is. My goal is to just get the drawing done because art much is like human beings. Like I'm so glad that you're here with us in the chat. I'm so glad that you're talking to me about art. You're sharing your art with me. You have your opinions on art. And like the world is a better place because we're all here together. We're all talking about our feelings, and we're expressing ourselves. And I think that is genuinely making the world a better place. Just like just you being alive and being here makes the world a better place. Like I'm proud of you. I love you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're an artist. I'm glad you're part of this world. And I think art is the same way. There's no pressure for you to be perfect. There's no pressure for you to be anything. You're just existing here with us, and that's important. And I love that about you. Whoever you are out there, like it's important that you just exist and you just be here with us. And I think that art is the same way. Like there's no reason for me to judge the art. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. I can just be happy that it's here. Like let's just work really hard not to judge ourselves, not to judge the artwork. There's so many parts of our lives that we can get overly judgmental, and there's parts of our lives that benefit from maybe a little extra judgment. But fortunately for us, you can make art without judgment. But here's the catch. It takes work, just like getting better at drawing a perfect picture. You have to teach yourself how to be expressive. You have to teach yourself how to not be hard on yourself. You have to teach yourself not to edit while you're creating. You know what I mean? There's so many times where your brain's gonna tell you you're not good enough, or you're not doing what everybody else is doing, or your brain tries to make up all kinds of little lies about worst case scenarios. And like, a lot of times those things can be important. But fortunately for us, when we're making art, it's not. Is that Felix Char on bass? Wow, Elijah Wan Obscura. How you been, my guy? Welcome back to the chat. What's up, Cotton Picker? Oh, I don't like your name. All right. Modern day art is shit. Well, you know what? Thanks for your opinion. But this is pretty much classic artwork. This is a classic art expressive style. But you know what? That doesn't matter. I like you here. It's fine. I appreciate you coming here and expressing yourself. You're obviously a rage baiter, but bro, at least you're expressing yourself. Oh, it's fun though, it's really nice to like see the difference, when somebody comes into the chat and they have like a real beautiful energy and they're real positive and they're sharing their ideas. I think that's very cool and beautiful. And when somebody comes in as an edge lord talking shit, like it's so easy to just kind of like it's just comedy. Just let it go. I ain't worried about those people because those kind of people kind of really give you a measure of like the beautiful energy in the room and like the shitty energy in the room. And I think, these communities allow us to kind of realize what matters and what doesn't. And sometimes like those assholes are everywhere in life, but you can't worry about them. Greetings from India, Lucky Taku. Uh no, no, I think it's fine. I think somebody like that, they probably appreciate art and they wouldn't be here if they didn't. Uh, but they also like they've learned in life that if you're loud and obnoxious, you get attention. And sometimes they just want attention, and that's fine. Hi, I see you. Here's your attention. Uh, but if they start causing problems, we can ban people like that. But I think sometimes people just need to be seen. And I see you, Not only that, but what's up, Ava? What's up? How are you? Not only that, but check this out. This is how you do it. Hey, if you're listening right now, everybody in the chat, maybe you haven't heard it in a while. I love you and I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you're in the world and the world's a better place because you're here. So don't forget that, You're a beautiful person and you can become a better person and a better artist every day. What's up, Ava? How you been? Eva. Am I saying it right? Eva, Ava? So I'm proud of y'all. I appreciate you being here. The world is a better place because you exist in it. And there's room for all of us in the world, you know? And even though like some people come onto the internet and they're trying to be rage baiters or whatever, over time they'll grow up and sometimes it takes a stream like this. Maybe if you just tell somebody, hey, I love you, I'm proud of you, you can get reactions from people by being a positive energy, by being a creative energy, and you don't have to be negativity. And I think that's magic. There's magic in the world and it reveals itself through us, through art, through photography, through films and paintings and stories and books. Like there's so much magic in the world, but I think it takes people like you and me to start expressing yourself in a free wielding manner for that magic to appear, you know? And I think all that magic, it comes with critique because like people can come in here and they can critique what that we're doing. They can critique our art. And honestly, my brain starts critiquing the art too. Do I want you to do a drawing? Yes, I do. Picasso or Pollock? Are you asking me to pick one, Demira? I think I'd rather Picasso. Um, Piff, Saber Fox. God bless your soul. Thank you, Simone. Uh, be sure to like the stream and to subscribe to the channel. How long did it take for you to draw Hassan from Stray Kids? I only have 20 minutes. Okay. All right, Christine. I appreciate you making the request. Let me take a look. Y'all be sure that you've liked the stream, sub to the page. Hassan from Stray Kids, huh? Is that the name of a band? Oh, I see. It's a K-pop artist. Okay, well, he has a lot of different looks, you know? I liked and stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Ava. Is it Eva or Ava? Ava? Picasso wasn't always a cubist either. He did some amazing work before that too. Yeah, Picasso did a lot of realism work before he kind of found himself in that expressive thing. He said that he spent his life learning, the first half of his life learning how to draw realistically, and the second half of his life learning how to draw like a child again. You know? Y'all want to see some details? Up close it really is just chaos. But let your imagination find it like in the clouds. I wonder if everybody sees a little bit differently. Eva? Yeah, all right, so there we go. Let's look at some more of these details. If you want to see around. See, like I think the lines look fun and expressive and they were fun to do. Yeah, Picasso was a terrible person. I think his art was cool and all that stuff was thing, but you can also learn from the fact that he was a terrible person. Uh, Draw a face, Eva, a face, and don't know what face you're drawing. Just allow the face to appear on the sheet of paper in front of you. Don't feel like you have to draw anything. If you're asking, and you are, give that a shot. All right, y'all. This next drawing goes out to Christine French. She requested I draw the K-pop star from the Stray Kids. His name is Han Sang. I think is how you say it. Han Sang. And Eva, if you want to draw Han Sang, you can as well. All right, so you can't get mad at me if this drawing doesn't look like Han Sang because um, we're just gonna let our instincts do it. Let's see how it comes out. All right, you tell me if you see Han. Once you see him, you tell me. Okay, do you see? Does it look like? Does it look like him yet? Is it him yet? You tell me if you see him. Shoot, just tell me if you see a face. All right. Again, we're using two hands here. I am ambidextrous, but also like still have a non-dominant hand, and one of my hands works better than the other one. And there's something about using my non-dominant hand that allows me to kind of will give up control and have a little bit more freedom, you know? Cybernetic Fox always sees it. For the fourth drawing, can you do a dog? Yeah, sure, I can. So, like, I'm trying to. There's so many times in life where maybe you don't have all the control that you would like to have. There's so many times in life where you're not going to be perfect or you're not really going to know the outcome. And like you might get into a routine where you think, hey, when I make art, I want it to look just like the reference. I want it to look just like this picture. I want it to be just like this or just like that. But like in life and in so many things, like it's hard to predict exactly like how the art might turn out. So like the sooner you can come to a conclusion that maybe the art isn't going to look exactly like it has to, and you don't have all the control, and that even though it doesn't have to be exactly like you expected, and that you don't have all the control, you can still work within those constraints and still have a nice time, still create a great piece of art, even though you can't always predict the outcome. But I think that lesson can move to other parts of your life. Like there's so many parts of our lives where we're maybe not going to have all the control, where you can't predict what the outcome might be. And I think if you start to make art that allows you to kind of work from in that constraint where it's like, I don't have all the control. I can't predict how this is going to come out. Well, when you end up in so many points of your life, because life is just a buildup of moments that you can't predict and that you can't control. And if you start at home through art, through making art that you can't predict and you can't constrain, you can't own, you don't quite understand the concept of your own work. But in the end, you still end up with a drawing that works, that you feel that you have fun with. Thank you, Saber and Eva, for seeing it already. But here's the deal, like I'm creating within this unsure moment. Like I'm not sure if the drawing is going to look like it should or not, but I'm also understanding that it doesn't matter. And there's so many times in life where things you don't get to predict and you don't get to control. And I think the more in art we can learn how to work within that framework. So even though maybe I'm not controlling the drawing, there's many parts of my life that I might not be able to control. Through art, I can say, you know what? I've learned to work within a world where I don't have all the control. I've learned to work in a world where I'm not exactly sure how the end product will be. And that's a lesson that you're going to carry over into your life. So even though, I'm just working on a drawing right now, I'm learning lessons about, control, predicting the future, understanding that outcomes sometimes can't be predicted. And I think that your life is that way. And when you learn to kind of let go of control. Give yourself some grace. Allow yourself to make some mistakes, but keep moving forward, keep existing. We want you to keep existing in this world. We want the art to keep existing in this world. And if you're constantly judging yourself, you're constantly giving yourself a hard time, you're not going to be able to kind of like get to those magic moments, and like just like having control of art or having control of your life sometimes isn't optional. And you can exercise that muscle, and then when you end up in moments in life where maybe you don't have all the control anymore, you're going to say, you know what, I've dealt with this before. I was making a piece of artwork. I had no control. And you know what? The artwork still worked. I was working on a piece of artwork and I couldn't predict the outcome. So when I was surprised by the outcome, you start to learn lessons there. So that when you're surprised about outcomes in your regular life, when you're dealing with things in your life where you don't have control over everything, you'll have already done it. You'll say, "Hey, I've been drawing, and in these drawings, I've learned to deal with a lack of control. I've learned to work when I don't exactly know what the outcome is." And I think those lessons are very important in your life, not just art, but like those lessons will transcend art and they'll start to kind of lay ground in all of your life, and you can learn to give yourself some grace, to apologize to yourself when you've been overly critical, and to understand what matters and what really doesn't matter. Because sometimes when you're drawing expressive art like this, none of these single pieces of lines or highlights matter. It's an accumulation of moments that make the art. And I think sometimes it's not about having a perfect piece of art. Sometimes it's just about having something that exists. And again, I don't think this is this is the most beautiful drawing of our guy here, but I do think that the process is something that I trust, and that, having a community here to kind of go through this with me. It's nice meeting you, Fox. All right, so I don't want to go into it too much, or it's gonna start to get realistic. But here's our uh, here's our expressive drawing without judgment of Han from Stray Kids for Christine French. Thank you for the request. And again, we're gonna turn the page, start another one. There's no judgment here. We're just gonna have fun. I think this is gonna be our last drawing. Uh, Eva, Christine, Obscura. Appreciate y'all being here and hanging out. Demura, Simone. Appreciate y'all being here, chatting with me. Shibby, I guess Shibby's back at school. Zanny, you still hanging out with us? All right, we're gonna do one more drawing. That'll be it. Don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you being here. Gonna do this last one. All right. All right, the last drawing of the stream. Let's do this. Two-hander. All right, don't forget, I love you. I'm proud of you. The world is a better place because you are in it. Don't you forget that. And that I know you're going to deal with tough times and conflict in your life because that's what life is. Life is the process that you're going through. It's not those final products. You know, sure, AI can make a pretty picture, but AI can't go through the process. You learn so much about life by making mistakes and getting better. You know, you can ask a robot to go jog for you, but you're not going to become a healthier person because a robot is jogging for you. The only way that you get the benefits is by you going through the process yourself. And I want to encourage you to take some time when you deal with some conflicts in life because life is all about conflict. You're going to get conflict, and it could be from school, it could be from your wife or your girlfriend. You might deal with conflict from college or your boyfriend or your significant other. You know, sometimes you just have a bad day because of your car or because of your house. You know, honestly, we can end up having a bad day from things like just within ourselves. You know, you might have a bad mental health day or a bad physical health day. You might not be feeling well. And I want to encourage you that you have this wonderful superpower that we all do as human beings, where you can take all that negative energy that life gives you and you can transform it into something positive through art. So when life gets tough and you're having a bad day, you're feeling down, you're feeling blue, you're feeling depressed, I want to remind you that you can go draw a picture about those feelings. You can write a poem, you can write a story, you can go jog, you can create a movie. You can take all that negative energy and all that negative conflict that life puts on your shoulders, and you can express that through a creative outlet like writing or drawing or music or any of those things. And I want to remind you that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to make the perfect drawing. You just have to make a drawing that exists. Just like art, you know, the world is a better place because it exists, and the world is a better place just because you exist. So I want to remind you that when you're dealing with tough times in life, because we all deal with tough times in life, you're not alone. That's part of life is tough times. You know, it's really hard to realize how wonderful the good times are if you don't have memories of some of those bad times that you've had to deal with. And when you're dealing with bad times, I want to remind you, don't take it out on yourself. Don't take it out on your community. Don't take it out on your friends and family. Don't take it out on the drywall. When you're dealing with tough times, don't take it out on yourself. Don't take it out on yourself. Don't take it out on yourself. That's what art is for. Take it out on art. You've got this wonderful superpower where you can express yourself in these creative ways, and it'll change the world. And I know it sounds crazy or romantic, but that's what art is. And we can all agree that one emotion at a time. If you're having a bad day, that you can go make art about that bad day, and all of a sudden you're having a good day. And that's fact. That's how art can work. And it takes some practice to make art work that way. But if we're all spending a little extra time expressing ourselves, taking negative conflict and negative parts of our lives and we're transforming that into something positive through art. We're literally making the world a better place through art. And I know it sounds crazy, but it is something that we can do, you know? And the thing about expressing yourself through art, expressing yourself through the way you move and the decisions you make in life, it gives what we call a permission structure for other people to do the same thing. And that's what inspiration is. So if you can express yourself through your artwork, if you're changing negative feelings and negative experiences into positive experiences, you're giving other people permission to do the same thing by being inspired. And if you're changing negative energy into positive energy through your artwork and you're inspiring other people to change negative energy into positive energy through their artwork, then we're one human at a time making the world a better place just through making art. Hi, Eva. Did you subscribe to the channel, Eva? I go live Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday evenings. Pacific Standard Time, Los Angeles, California time. But that's three times a week I try to stream. Also, you can check out the uploaded videos too if you want to check out some of that stuff. But we do for about an hour on Tuesday, hour on Thursday, hour on Saturday. So today is Thursday. This is our last drawing of the stream. We will see you here on Saturday. Thanks for being here, Eva, Cyberfox, Obscura. All right. I love you. Proud of you. Don't take it out on yourself. Don't take it out on yourself. Don't take it out on yourself. World's a better place because you're in it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making art. I'm proud of you. I love you. Don't take it out on yourself. Don't take it out on your community. Don't take it out on your friends. Don't take it out on your family. Don't take it out on things that matter. Take it out on some art. That's what it's for. You can do it. I'm proud of you. I'll see you next time. Later, Eva. Wait. The clunky part where I gotta end the stream. Bye, y'all. All right, all right. Okay, so slow down a little bit. We're back to horizontal. If anybody's here hanging out with us, let me know. Crank up the music. Oh my gosh, we got a stream boo bot. In a little while. Since we got a stream boo bot. Block them. Cool. Okay, y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. If y'all are wondering, we got 277 views on that vertical and 4 new subscribers. Not too bad. All right, y'all. I'm gonna clean up, grab some food, and I'll see y'all on Saturday. Appreciate y'all being here. Proud of you for being here. Don't forget it. You're not alone. You want to chat with somebody? Come chat with me.